Leaders aren't born. I mean, they're born because everyone's born, but they become leaders through practice. Hey leader, David Burkus here, organizational psychologist and author of 5 best-selling books on helping leaders and teams do their best work ever. And when you just say that word leader, you often spark up this huge debate over whether or not leaders are born or made. And to be honest, this whole debate is a little ridiculous. I know. What people mean is, are you born with certain traits that make you a leader? But even that doesn't matter, because any trait you were born with still needs to be cultivated and still needs to be developed. Leaders become great leaders through practice, through effort, through the habits that they learn and shape. And in this episode, we're gonna talk about the 3 most important, in my opinion, and also the opinion of an awful lot of data, the 3 most important things for leaders to practice on a regular basis and get better at in order to become the type of leader that leads that best team ever. Let's get started. The first action, the first habit that will improve your leadership skills is to create clarity. Yeah, create clarity on a team. Today, most teams are being asked to operate in what is a consistently unclear and volatile environment, what is constantly changing and constantly being adapted. And in those situations, people look to leaders for clarity, for certainty about what the plan of action is and why it matters. And that's why great leaders create that sense of clarity. They not only can point out what is the big goal, or what Jim Collins would call the big, hairy, audacious goal. What is the thing that we are all pursuing? But also, what are the milestones that are gonna get there? And then also clarity on what's expected of you as an individual in supporting that team on a regular basis. So this is about having goals, making sure you've got the big goal, you've got the smaller goals, and that people know what done looks like in those goals, but also making sure people have clarity just on the team that you lead, have clarity around what each other are doing. Now, a lot of good leaders do this on a one-on-one basis. They base their check-ins, their regular one-on-ones with their team around clarity. What are you doing and how can you improve and what have you? But what they don't do is make sure the team gets all of that information. So I'm a big fan of having the team check in with each other on a regular basis. Check in with huddles where they go over, here's what I've completed between the last time we met and now, here's what I'm focused on, and here's where I might have the potential for a roadblock or a derailer that I need your help with. Having that discussion as a team so that the team is clear about what they can expect from everyone else and every individual is clear on what's expected of them. Still do your check-ins, your one-on-ones, but those are much more about how you can support them in the leadership role and not about things they need from a team. Great leaders create that clarity, not only clarity on where we're going, but clarity on what's expected of us. And so when you practice creating clarity on your team, you'll improve your leadership skills. The second habit that great leaders do on a regular basis is they establish safety. Safety here meaning psychological safety. This isn't about safe spaces where people are never gonna hear anything they disagree with. In fact, it's the opposite. It's recognizing that your team is going to disagree, and that's a good thing. But disagreement is one of a myriad of different interpersonal risks that we need people to take on a team. And psychological safety is a climate where people feel like they can take those interpersonal risks without fear of punishment. So that's disagreement, but that's also sharing crazy ideas. That's admitting failures. That's disagreeing with you, speaking up to disagree with you. All of these things are forms of interpersonal risk, and great leaders create the safety where people feel like they can trust you and trust the team, and that when they take those risks out of trust, they're respected and heard. As a leader, you have to do this in 2 different ways. You have to model that behavior first. So you have to learn to actively listen to someone, to hear their idea even if you disagree with it, and to ask questions when you disagree instead of just shooting down their idea. You may want to lead them to a place where they see your perspective, but you don't do that by telling them they're wrong. You ask them questions that lead them there. But this is also enforcing those same habits on other people. This might mean you need to teach people, hey, that's disrespectful behavior, and we won't have it on a team. And it may mean you need to teach people this is exactly how we're going to respond. Really depends on where your team is lacking in that. It's not enough to just build trust, to get the team together and do some trust falls or some sort of team building activity. You have to teach people how to respect each other in their regular habits of behavior. And when you do, you'll build a team that team-wide feels that sense of psychological safety. So people don't just trust you as a leader, they trust each other as well. And you'll learn over time how to get better at establishing safety And that'll improve your leadership skills. And the third habit, the third thing great leaders really do is that they speak purpose regularly. Yeah, they regularly talk about why it's so important to do the things that we do. And when I say purpose here, I don't mean we need to hit this objective because all of our quarterly bonuses depend on it. No. Most of the research over the last 40 years of teams and human motivation suggests that people are most motivated, intrinsically motivated, when they know they're making a meaningful contribution toward work that benefits others. So there's two ways in there that leaders need to learn how to speak purpose. Number one, they need to speak to the individual on here's why your contribution, the thing that you're doing, matters. Here's how your work helps the rest of the team. And number two, here's how the team's work helps make someone else's life, work, society, whatever it is, better. Meaningful contribution toward work that benefits others. But a lot of leaders just either regurgitate the mission statement or just talk about performance objectives and hitting bonuses and what have you. That's not speaking purpose. Speaking pro-social purpose is what we want. And learning how to have that conversation on the regular about why our work matters and why it's in the service of a greater good. That is not only going to improve your team's individual motivation, it's going to improve your leadership skills. Now, as we've gone through these three, you've probably already sensed, hey, this is one where my team is lacking, or this is one where I'm lacking. And so feel free to get started on that one right away, but do not ignore the other two. Most of this episode comes from 40 years of well-researched, well-documented findings on what makes an outstanding team culture. And that's what leaders ultimately do. They create that team culture. Whether it's by creating clarity, establishing safety, or speaking purpose, those actions shape the team culture. The team gets better and better and better because the leader is improving and getting better and better and better until eventually you feel like not only are you the best leader ever, you feel like you've created a team where everyone can do their best work ever. Oh, and one more thing. This is like a broad scale, right? These are the three things overall. If you want to go deeper, if you want to know specific activities, like what this looks like on a day-to-day basis, you're going to check out this video here, which builds off of it and shares what great leaders do, like do daily do. So watch this video. Maybe even watch it daily.